Welcome to the Chrissy Mayer podcast. We are on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us right now on iTunes, please go and leave a 5-star review. The review can say anything. For example, this review from D.D. Crockett. Hot as the hot sauce. Chrissy nails each and every show. Great guests, good topics, great conversations. Brings a fun atmosphere to the podcasting world. Plus, she's smoking hot. Just like her hot sauce sponsor. I wonder if one of these guys works over there. Her shows with Isaac Weishapt, Jay Dyer, and Sam Tripoli are some of the best. Love the wide variety of guests that present a set of different views on popular topics. Wow, thanks, D.D. Crockett. Or maybe it's Double D. Crockett. I'm not sure if this is a guy or a girl, but great. Yes, please go and leave a 5-star review, just like he just did. And I'll be reading the best reviews every week, so long as they are 5 stars. You know what else I give 5 stars to? Silk City Hot Sauce. Go to silkcityhotsauce.com right now. Use the promo code CMP. You're going to get 15% off your entire order, and they're going to throw in a free bottle of cherry sriracha for you. You know, if you're feeling spicy and you don't know where to go, I think Silk City is a pretty good answer. If you're feeling boring in your life, if you're eating boring eggs every morning, if you're eating tacos that are not really blowing you away, I very much recommend the taco one. I like the smoking one, like I've said before. They have such a wide variety of hot sauces. So, like, whatever you're into, they for sure have it. And, yeah, they're going to throw in some stickers. So, check them out. Go to Silk City Hot Sauce. Use the promo code CMP. Get your 15% off. Speaking of getting off... This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about something we all need more of. Not just sex, but great sex. Fellas, now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. That's blue, like the color blue, like your balls. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, except without that whole hand-holding in the bathtub thing. Take them any day, day or night, whenever. On a full stomach, take it right now, literally while you're listening to me, so you can be ready for whenever an opportunity arises. Ladies, you can get on this too and get some for your man. Come on. He's not going to buy it himself. Some of them won't, some of them will. Sometimes you just got to buy it and leave it under their pillow like a boner fairy. Blue Chew is made in the USA. It's prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to a doctor and wait in line. It's cheaper than a pharmacy. They prepare it and ship it right to you in a discreet package. There's no awkwardness. You don't have to wait in line. You don't have to leave your home. You don't have to put pants on to order this stuff. If you could benefit from more confidence where it counts, Blue Chew is the fast and easy way to enhance your performance. Right now, we have a special deal for you. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment for free. All you have to do is pay $5 for shipping when you use the code CMP. Free and CMP, that rhymes. I didn't plan that. Again, that's Blue, B-L-U-E, Chew.com, and use the code CMP. Try it free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper choice. I thank them so much for sponsoring this podcast. Remember, this podcast is free, and if you want to support me, support them. Just use the promo code CMP. Come see me this weekend at Atlantic City Comedy Club. That's this Friday, October 2nd, and Saturday, October 3rd. Comedians of the Compound this weekend at the Atlantic City Comedy Club. Come check us out. And you can even stay the night at the Claridge Hotel. If you do stay the night, use the code COMEDY for a discount on your hotel room. Come, sleep over, hang out with us. There's going to be 1 show Friday night, 2 shows Saturday night. We're all going to be there. Me, Anthony Cumia, Pat Dixon, Aaron Berg, Gino Bisconti, Don Jameson, Larry Bea, myself, possibly Rich Voss will drop in. It's going to be fucking fun. What else are you doing? And if you're nervous about the COVID stuff, it's all safe, socially distanced, lower capacity, all that stuff. So nothing to worry about at all. Come to that show. If you're in New Jersey and want to see me headline, October 21st, that's a Wednesday, I'm going to be headlining at Tiff's Ale House in Morris Plains, New Jersey. And that's going to be with Mike Figs featuring and Bob Levy headlining. So tickets are available for sale right now. Either come out this weekend to Atlantic City or I'll see you in Morris Plains, New Jersey on the 21st. I am so excited to have this gal in studio today. She is a 13-time best-selling author. She has written In Trump We Trust, Adios America, and many other books. Ann Coulter, how are you?
Hello.
So happy to have you here today. I remember we met, might have been a year and a half, 2 years ago, at an Islanders game, because I remember Bill Schultz, who I know from Compound Media, he, I think, knew the guy that had the owner's box, or he...
No, that would be me.
Oh, you?
Not your little degenerate friend.
Oh, my God. It was all because of you. I thought it was like he knew somebody, and then I was like, wow,
He knows me.
Here. You were the
And
connection.
I know the owner.
Bill, you ain't shit. Well, that's amazing, because I remember, and then and I had, of course, known you, heard of you, been a fan
I was
from
trying
afar.
to remember when we met. I assumed it was with Sherrod. No, it was with that degenerate Bill Schultz.
Yeah, and I remember it was like this Islanders game, and it was like there was this swag out, like you could take a couple little free teddy bears and jerseys. I was like, wow, I'm living large. This is exciting.
I know, and it was all canceled because of COVID.
And then
Well, they
everything was-
played, and they did great this year.
Yeah, that was a good time. And I remember, as soon as I saw you, I was like, oh my God, that's Ann Coulter. And then I met you, and I was like, wow, she's so not a cunt and so nice. And why do people
Can
think
I put
this?
that on my next book?
Yes.
Because that would be a fantastic endorsement.
And I just...
So not a cunt.
You were so nice and so cool and easy to talk to. And I just, I think that was really a moment for me. I was like, yeah, you can't fucking believe the hype on what some people say about you or someone else. And I don't know, that was a real moment for me. I was like, wow, she's actually really cool and fun and easy to talk to.
Thank you.
A fan of comedy. And you just did Anthony Cumia's show a couple days back. And I was like, wow, she's laughing so much. And
That was a great show.
yeah. How and you had some predictions, you predicted Trump would win, I think, even before he
Won the nomination.
won the nomination. So
That's why it should be concerning that I have no prediction this time.
yeah, even after
It's funny. I've been saying for the past year, up until a few months ago, basically a year into his presidency, I've been secretly telling my friends, he's going to lose, it's totally over, he's going to lose. I'm not going to say this publicly. People will just yell at me, but he's going to lose. I'm telling you right now, he's going to lose. And then this year... who knows? Maybe he's still going to lose. I really don't know. But there are three things that make me think that it's at least 50-50 now. One is the COVID shutdowns. And the Democratic governors and mayors have been such twats about it. So outrageous. And meanwhile, look at a state like Florida. Thank heaven it wasn't the... crack-addicted bisexual American Andrew Gillum, who almost won that election. They were counting for a week. That guy could be the governor of Florida right now. Florida's basically been open for the whole... There was 2 weeks, there was a shutdown. Everything's open. Kids are back at school. People have been eating in restaurants all this time. And 1/3 the deaths of New York, with a larger population, and I might add, a much older population. I don't know if you've heard, but Florida, very big for retirees.
Yeah, my dad lives there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, he's been barely affected. He's been out
Yes.
doing everything the same as he always was, drinking in all the places he likes to drink, and floating around in his pool in his backyard with his shade thing, and it's just... I don't know. He never liked people to begin with. It's funny how you said, coming in, you were like, yeah, I was never, big into handshakes before all this COVID bullshit. But it's now it's great to have that excuse. And, my dad is the same, where he never really cared for any people at all. So he's been...
What a fine man.
He's the OG of social distancer. So it seems like you've had kind of an interesting... I don't know if relationship with Trump or thoughts on Trump, because there were times that you were supporting him, and then it seems like maybe now less so. What I love about you is you seem to call him out on the promises he doesn't deliver.
Yeah, that's why I thought he was going to lose, and may still lose, not keeping promises to his base. And I know many of the base would get mad at me for pointing this out, but I keep saying, this isn't on behalf of me. Even though I lost all my income this year because of the COVID shutdowns and I had 6 weeks of speeches canceled, I'll be fine. I'll be able to employ the cheap immigrant labor, to clean my pool. This isn't on my behalf, but the left behind Americans white, black, Hispanic, especially African Americans, I might add. If he had done the stuff on infrastructure, on building the wall, those are a lot of good, high-paying construction jobs, and people who are just entering the workforce, or maybe have an oxy problem. You know, these are our fellow Americans, and I think we should care about them. All these plants have been shut down. End the bad trade deals with China. If he had done that, there would have been no question, I think, about his reelection, no matter what the media did to him. But he didn't keep those promises. That's going to hurt a lot. And at this point, well, there was the COVID shutdown. I told you there are three things that makes me think that maybe the polls are wrong again, but I don't think so. Okay, there was the assholic Democratic governors. Then, the riots.
Oh God! It's just an idea. Antifa's just an idea. I just threw an idea of a brick through this window, and it just broke. It's a thought, you know. It's like not real.
And what was the third thing? I think that's really big. And I guess now I think this hysteria over white supremacy as Antifa is ripping the nation apart.
It's a huge distraction, it seems.
It's crazy, and I think people hate the media. So what I had been saying, and maybe people are hating the media and the left even more, is that it comes down to a question of whom do you hate more.
Yeah.
A lot of hatred out there for Trump. Totally have that I've seen. But I now hate the media so much. I mean, there have been times through his presidency I just sit back and say, you were such a liar, you were such a betrayer. I'm sitting this one out. Maybe I'll even vote for Biden. But now I hate the media. I mean, I was saying this to myself, and I knew I wouldn't in the end. But now I hate the media so much. It's not a vote for Trump. It's a vote for how much I hate the media.
And I wonder if it seems like lots of other Americans feel exactly the same way. Like, I never thought I would see the day where I would see people like outside fake news saying like CNN is fake news. Like that was always like the beacon. Like when I was just like an idiot right at like college graduate, I was like, oh, CNN, they're like the smarty pants news network. They're like, and I feel like a lot of people felt that way too. And so it's nice to see that kind of crumble.
Because they have really ugly people. They're no smarter than the bimbos on the other networks, but they're really, really ugly and wear glasses.
So people think they're smarter.
That is totally what it is.
Because people love
I don't want to name names, but they are very, very dumb. And I thought they were smart too, because you think to yourself, well, why else would they have this person on air? He or she must be smart. Oh, no. It's a fake out. Ugly people. You must think they're smart.
But people love to shit on, like, attractive reporters on Fox News. Like, oh, like the blonde woman, she's in the leg seat. They all look a certain way. It was that video, that movie that came out that was like...
Idiocracy.
Shit. No, it was the one when it was kind of, like, loosely about Fox News. And it was with Margot Robbie. And they were in the elevator. Yeah, it was a Bombshell. That's like
I didn't see
people's idea of... It was pretty good. I mean, for like a bad movie.
You know why I won't see that movie and object to the premise of it? I think none of this is something private, or I shouldn't say, but I'd always heard the stories of what was being done to girls at Fox News, mostly from our friend Bill Schultz, and he will confirm this because he's talking to these girls as they're coming out of the offices, and I mean he basically slept at Fox News because you get drunk and it was closer to just go over there and sleep in his office, so he knew everything that was going on, and I was always the one around the table saying I don't believe it, because if this is true, you got a huge lawsuit. And then there was, of course, the huge lawsuit. But the stories that Bill had told me, a lot of them were girls whom this was done to. And they, run out of whomever's office crying, leaving the news business, moving back to Oklahoma. But the heroes of this Hollywood movie about it are supposed to be the women who thought it was fine. Just give me a good time slot. Yeah. Yep, I'll sit on your lap. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You can give me the breathing lessons, all of it. And they progressed and they got airtime at Fox. So don't tell me they're the heroes. No, the girls with integrity are the ones who walked out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And it's like you're kind of furthering the notion like, well, if you want to get ahead, this is an example of where it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
So... I don't know. I think what I really like of you when I think about like original, cancel culture has been in the conversation for like what feels like an eternity now, but years. But I feel like you're one of the kind of like original pioneers of being canceled, having people come after you.
I used to be Trump.
When do you feel like a lot of that started happening, or was it right away after the Clinton stuff?
That's a good question. I think... obviously a little bit with Clinton. That was the first book, High Crimes and Misdemeanors. And I was new to this. I was just a lawyer. And I remember these Media Matters would send around these claims. There was like a fact sheet of things Ann Coulter has said. And I'd be on radio and people would be calling in and saying, well, your guest has said. And it's all these things. I'd listen to the recitation and say, I haven't said any of that. Because it used to be just 100% lies. And then in 2005, John Cloud wrote the Time magazine cover story on me, which I tried to back out of. And after one dinner, I tried to back out. And he said, Anne, you're the first person we've tried to put on our cover that is trying to get out of this.
Wow.
And so I changed my mind. He said, we won't talk about you so much. I didn't want him talking about me. You have to go home and take a shower. I'm talking about how I frolicked as a child or something. No, I want to talk about politics or things. But anyway, he was a good reporter, and he went and he checked a lot of the alleged quotes I had said. Because I said to him, I didn't say that. I allegedly said this on air. Order the tape from MSNBC. And he ordered the tape, and Ann was right. And so that shut down a lot of the lies, at least. And now there's Twitter and Facebook and people, and it's harder to tell lies because so much is captured on camera. So that's good. And that's part of, to bring it all back to this week, Trump and the debates. That's what's so enraging about this white supremacy. It's like calling someone a witch. In Salem, the point is to destroy you.
Yeah.
To destroy, get you fired, get your friends to leave you, and there's no way you can disprove it.
Yeah, it seems like it's all about like, well, if we can discredit the source or the person or the group, then we don't have to acknowledge that what's going on is actually true. Like I just had every so months, I feel like I'm talking to somebody from Project Veritas. It's like you have the Google whistleblower, Zach Voorhees, you have the Facebook whistleblower, Zach McElroy, who like caught on tape the content moderators like blatantly deleting anything conservative, anything pro-Trump. Yet, when all that comes out, and most recently with the election fraud stuff in Minneapolis, which was the big story this week. What does the New York Times do? Calls them, like they're doing journalism cosplay, or it was a hit piece, or it's like they just try to take them down as an organization instead of saying, oh, here's why what you're saying is false.
Right.
And here's the proof of why you're wrong. So,
I mean, at least in Salem, they'd throw you in water, and if you drowned, I think that proved you weren't a witch. It was too late, but...
Right, and if you floated... No, if you drowned, you were a person, but then, oh, shit, now you're dead.
But you can't even do that with these claims. And, as I wrote in my column this week, there's no such thing as a white supremacist.
I have yet to meet one. I'm friends with a lot of white people.
Person.
Yeah.
The idea that any two white people have gotten together and said... Hey, we're way better than other races. We should rule over It's crazy. It's crazier than being a witch, but it's done to destroy people.
And it's like, who's the only person I know that's like maybe kind of racist or anything at all? I would be, again, my dad to bring up. I didn't think I'd be bringing up at all. But
luckily he doesn't like anyone.
Yeah, his beef is like, we grew up, he was a landscaper. He was among the last of the white landscapers of his time. So he would always complain like, oh, such and such a Jew didn't pay me the full price, or such and such a doctor, a lawyer. Anybody he had a personal vendetta against was just somebody who like screwed him out of money for a job or something. So, like, he hated specific people for just, like, that reason. But I don't know anybody who's a white supremacist. I've never even, like... It just feels like, again, like a witch hunt. And how do you prove it? It's all sort of
It's just a devil
abstract
term. Yeah. Yeah, how do you prove it and how do you disprove it?
Yeah.
They produced the head of the Proud Boys, a black Hispanic. And I was looking at the Twitter feed last night. I love Twitter. I get my news there. I was retweeting some things about, because I didn't even know. I wrote about it. I know that one of the founders is married to a black woman and has a bio. I've had the Proud Boys in Los Angeles. They protect me all over the country. They're magnificent human beings.
Okay.
Magnificent. A lot of them are off-duty cops, ex-military, but it has nothing to do with race. The LA branch is like half Mexican.
Yeah.
But they're strong, patriotic guys, and they're protecting innocent people, and not so much me, but people who are coming to see me speak when Antifa comes around and is going to beat people up and set things on fire and shut events down. Not with the Proud Boys standing around. But anyway, I was looking at the responses, because a lot of people were tweeting that the current head of the Proud Boys is a black Hispanic, and people, these liberals, you can't win with them. Oh, talk about tokenism.
Oh, God.
Have you heard of a token?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh, you can't win.
There's just one of him, and you put him out in front like a college pamphlet?
Right.
Oh, my God. If the Proud Boys really wanted to, like, fix their PR, maybe I don't know, have they ever thought of calling themselves, like, the Pride Boys and, like, maybe a rainbow flag?
Right.
Or what? You just have one gay? I don't know. And then why do you think the left, or specifically Biden, has so much trouble coming out against Antifa?
That is the takeaway from that debate.
Yeah.
There's only one person on that stage who wouldn't condemn violence in politics.
Yeah, he said law and a hint of order, or a little bit of order. Isn't that what he said? He was like, law and a little bit of order. He wouldn't even say law and order. Biden actually said a little bit of... It sounded like Mambo number 5. I was like, what? A little bit.
Yeah, and that business about Antifa, it's not an organization. Wait, they have names. They are attached to towns.
Groups.
You can follow them online.
There's one in the Hamptons, I think.
Wow.
They're all over. They've got...
Yeah, and somehow, I mean, just looking at these... I spoke at Berkeley last November. 2,000 Antifa came out. Somehow they all knew we're all supposed to go to Berkeley, and we should bring, cans of food and masks and everything else, the umbrellas. They know what weapons to bring. They know where to go.
Yeah.
They know what time. They know what day. That's an organization.
Yeah, it seems pretty organized. I'm seeing a lot of people with the same Black Lives Matter face masks. I'm seeing a lot of videos of, like, giant pre-made posters being loaded out of trucks.
Right.
Like, that seems organized. There's some organization going on there.
And that's another thing. They always say to Trump, you say you don't support these racists, but they support you. Okay, so let's take that, leaving that aside. True or false or whatever you think of that. Okay, Black Lives Matter is doing a tough job policing Antifa, and Antifa sure thinks they're doing this on behalf of BLM. Like you say, those are the masks. That's what they spray paint before they smash the window. How about holding Black Lives Matter responsible for Antifa? That's a lot closer than anything white racists are doing on behalf of Trump.
If I were one of the head people on BLM, I would do everything. I'd be constantly speaking out against Antifa. I'd be like constantly getting in front of the camera and being like, we're not with these guys. Like, I just don't know why.
There actually have been a few rare incidents of that I really love and tweet out, where you have a white Antifa yelling at a black person.
Oh my, all the time. You see, like, it's like, didn't you just make my latte this morning? But that's the person who's, like, cursing out a black cop, calling them an Uncle Tom. It's like they're just trying to get through the day.
Right, and there was a black woman in her car. I think this was Portland, may have been, I forget where it was. But she's trying to drive home into her neighborhood. And Antifa is there blocking her, and she is a real African American, no Jamaican accent or anything.
Yeah.
This is whom we're supposed to be protesting on behalf of. Oh, she just read them the riot act, and they just refused to move.
Did they then call her the token of the neighborhood? Like, did they say, how many of you live here?
That's good.
Oh my God, it's very upsetting. I feel like right now the most punk rock thing you could be is a black conservative outspoken voice,
Yes.
I think like being a conservative now is like being like I don't know, like an out gay person in the 50s or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you're scared for people to know. And I went to a Back the Blue rally last weekend, and I was just doing like little silly interviews and stuff. I was like, I'm making a thing for my YouTube channel, please. And people, like, I mean, maybe 5 people were so afraid to just get on camera. I'm like, no, I'm with you. I support you. I'm about this. This isn't like a gotcha.
Yeah.
And people are afraid of it getting out. People are afraid of losing their jobs if they still have one at this point.
See, that's when I think maybe Trump could win after all.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be seeing the most gigantic Bradley effect that the country has ever seen. That was
the Bradley effect?
It's when a black guy, I think it was Tom Bradley, it was before even my time, but I know what the concept stands for, was running for mayor of LA, and all the polls showed him, maybe it was re-election, I don't even know. You can find it online. But he was a black guy, and all the polls showed him winning huge. He ended up losing.
Wow.
And they later interpreted why were the polls so wrong, that people were afraid to say they weren't voting for the black guy.
Yeah.
Well,
wow.
now you see people being stopped on the street, driving by, and people demanding that they pledge allegiance to Black Lives Matter, or showing up at restaurants. And like what you saw, maybe people just, they don't even want to admit it to themselves.
Yeah.
No, I'm not voting for that horrible racist monster.
Yeah. It's also like, yeah, I was with you guys till you fucking ruined my dinner and took my appetizers. There was one quesadilla left. It was gonna be mine. God damn it. It seems like, Anne, as your support, you'll be for Trump, against Trump, and you're always like true to your voice and how you feel. But it seems no matter what, you've always been like kind of cool with the White House. It seems like they welcome you, and do you feel like that's just because they appreciate your authentic,
They follow me.
Yeah.
I notice everyone in the White House. When I'll click on it, here's somebody who's working at the White House. Look to the feed. This person is following you. This person is following you. They're definitely following me, and especially now that he needs to get reelected. I say that I feel like I'm the president of the Reelect Trump committee because I'm holding his feet to the fire so he'll keep his promises so that he will get reelected. Now, at this point, there's only a month left. I probably will stop sending out snippy tweets about him. I'll send them in emails to my friends to get it off my chest.
What are your biggest concerns about the election?
The election day itself, you mean?
Is it more like, is it ballot fraud, or is it, something else? Or
I so don't want it to go on and on and on. I mean, if it goes on and on and on, the odds go up for the Democrats winning because I think it was in 2018, maybe it was 2016, but there were all these very close elections in California.
Oh, right.
And
okay.
I remember at the beginning of this, we have to recount the ballots, and I just said, everyone is going to go to a Democrat. And everyone went to a Democrat, and I'm sorry, that is not statistically possible.
Yeah.
That and by and large, unless Republicans put up a fight like they did in 2000, every close election will be stolen by the Democrats. So a close election's bad.
Yeah. It seems like I feel like I could see a lot of ballots ending up at the bottom of people's bird cages. Like, I don't know. I'm like, are they being counted? Where are they going? It's concerning. And the fact that you can submit them after the election day.
And that so many are just floating around out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that you can order up. And I think people are conflating mail-in ballots with the absentee ballots. And absentee is like legit. You're away, you're traveling, you're in the military, whatever it is, or you're like too old to get there. I don't know.
Right, and mail-in is we just randomly send them out to everybody who's ever registered.
Yeah, everybody gets at least one, whether you're dead or alive. You better vote. We can't disenfranchise the dead. I remember, and a lot of people gave you some shit for when you win the, I think it was the Rob Lowe Comedy Central roast.
Yeah.
And even before we started recording, you're like, yeah, that felt like the fucking roast of Ann Coulter. And I remember what I thought was pretty cool because I think I heard from one of my comedy buddies that was on the writing board for it. And they said Ann did not want us to write any of her jokes for her. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that shows a lot of integrity. And how did that feel though? The process of doing it and then after the fact?
Well, it's not really my favorite kind of humor. Either, in the audience or whatever. It's not my favorite thing. I didn't like the ones they were sending to me. I thought they were really, really, really hacky. Don't tell your friend who writes for them that, though I think that's part of the reason.
Do you remember any of the jokes that you didn't like that you were like, no?
I remember they had ripped off other jokes of mine that were appropriate at the time, but that didn't make any sense here. I mean, there was a Chris Christie fat joke. Which
he is fat.
He is fat. But when I did it at CPAC, whatever year it was, he was disinvited from CPAC, this conservative it used to be conservative, now it's just Chamber of Commerce. And I remember I vaguely remember this joke. It was something like you know, a lot of changes at CPAC. It's down. It was big news that he had been disinvited. It's down about 300 pounds this year. And everybody knew that I was talking about Christie. And they had one, and I thought, okay, and that, at the time, whatever the context was, that worked. People understood what was going on. And they just had something with me pointing to somebody up in one of the other roast people and saying, oh no, that's Chris Christie. Well, the guy doesn't look like Chris Christie. It's just a dumb fat joke. There's no.
Yeah.
So that's about all I can remember. I did write my own, but contrary, I did have some dates with me there, including Bill Schultz.
Oh, wow.
And a really good professional comedy writer out in LA who's written for Leno, Bill Maher, Norm Macdonald, everybody, really good professional comedy writer. And he was so happy at the end of it. He sent me a long, wonderful email saying, that was unbelievable. I've never been so proud of you. You sat, I mean, they edited what they put on TV. He said, for 2 hours, that audience was trained to hate you. All they did was call you the C word, and you got up and you were the only one who was funny, and you got the audience laughing with you. Now, that's not how it was presented on television.
It didn't look that way. And then I thought, like, okay, if I'm Anne, and like, I probably wouldn't want people, you know, giving me jokes to say that don't really reflect my voice, or they present me in like a hacky or a cheap way, or... So I probably figured, like, if I'm you and I'm not, like, you know, comedian is not your, like, main business, it's like, okay, she'd probably have something that is more true than, you know, this doesn't have to be the funniest thing.
Right.
Yeah. Like, you're going for your own kind of... I'm saying this poorly,
it was
but
true.
Like,
I put my book up on the podium. It had just come out the day before.
Yeah,
So,
right,
like,
because then it was good
got
promotion
great
for your
press
book.
on that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, anyone in LA will tell you, you could... In the editing bay, you can change something to make it look like Zapruder shot Kennedy. Kennedy shot Zapruder. You know, you can change things and take away laughter. But at the time, it was fine, and they flew us out, and Schultz and I had a fun time.
Good. What do you think about kind of... I mean, I know this just came out today. Chrissy Teigen had a miscarriage. It's so public. She had a photo shoot. She may or may not have had fake tears put on her face. It may or may not. I mean, I'm very skeptical, but I don't know. How do you feel as someone kind of who's also kind of a celebrity, and just to notice the kind of circus around?
I think it's a mistake for people to put their personal lives out. I mean, people know very little about me personally. And I keep it that way. I can't imagine. I don't think I would. I said nothing about it, though I must say I was tempted to point out that just last year, Christy and John had tweeted out, boycott Georgia because of their abortion law.
Wow. And it's like, it's interesting. It's like, oh, sometimes your body makes a choice without consulting you. How does that make you feel? It's almost like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like these are the same people that are like, it's interesting, the hypocrisy of like, okay, you're pro-choice, but it's also you're pro. I mean, I feel like that's just a media circus, and they're doing it for PR.
I know it's different if you're choosing on your own, but you're weeping so much for this, you know, clump of cells, according to you. And now you want to boycott a state for making it slightly more difficult to get an abortion. I mean, it's not like it's banned. I don't know what Georgia did. I don't remember, but I know it wasn't banned.
Yeah, you can still
I know you can't do that. So it was probably something like, you know, parental notification. And they're saying sports teams and actors and everybody should boycott Georgia over this. Well, then why all the tears for for your little clump of cells.
Yeah, well, because it already had its own Instagram account. Like, I don't know. He had a Twitter for it. So, yeah, it is interesting to see. And Chrissy Teigen was always all about canceling other people, wanted to cancel Goya, always wants to cancel.
Oh, that's right.
Organizations and people who bother her, like she's cancel queen. And then when people kind of came for her for like deleting 60,000 tweets and blocking 1 million people and blaming everything on QAnon, it's like,
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad you've caught me up on Christy
Oh,
Teigen.
God. And, like, I may or may not have, like, played a small role in that because I checked this website. It's not called Chartable. It's called Social Blade. And you can see if people like, pay for followers on Twitter, if they're deleting or whatever. And I noticed Chrissy Teigen deleted, like, 29,000. And then I was like, hey, a lot of celebrities have been really busy since Ghislaine was arrested. Chrissy Teigen, at her, right? Why did you delete 30,000 tweets? Never in a million fucking years thought she'd write back. But sure enough, like, I finished recording a thing and she had written me back. Actually, it's 60,000 tweets because I'm afraid for my family because if psychos like you think you're detectives, da-da-da. I was tweeting about toddlers and tiaras and, like, sure enough, no, everyone came out with all of their screenshots over the years for saying, like, kind of creepy, maybe pedo-friendly type stuff. And there's a clip of her on a show being like, I would eat human meat. What's so weird about it? Like, just a lot of weird stuff. And then
I
blocked
gotta go
1 million.
look this
It's
up.
a lot. Yeah, this was a few months back.
Wait, and what's that site where you can... I love the idea of people paying for Twitter followers.
Oh.
What's the point of that?
There is no point because they eventually, their bots or whatever, like at least half or more end up dropping off anyway. So it's like you have to keep doing it. You have to keep buying. It's called Social Blade. And you can
But I'm trying to have influence and get arguments and, well, make my friends laugh too. I mean, it's not like that important what I'm doing. But if what you want to do is have influence and have people see your tweets, what does it help you to have a computer pretending to be following you?
It's like, well, I look like I have a lot of followers. I look like a big deal. I look like I have 50,000 followers. Or when really I have 200.
I haven't gotten one new follower in the last year.
Oh, no.
I used to get 1,000 a day.
It's because all your gigs were canceled.
No, I think Twitter's fiddling with that.
Twitter's for sure shadow banning people, censoring.
That's awfully strange.
A lot. It's like definitely proven, for sure. Well, I mean, there's always OnlyFans.
I just saw that last night. Somebody I followed, I'd never heard of it. And I highly recommend this guy. It's called Second City Bureaucrat. He's apparently a cop in Chicago, and oh my gosh, they must want to find out who this guy is because he's completely anonymous and tweets all this stuff about what's going on in Chicago, and apparently is an actual cop. But anyway, he had, and it was a good tweet. I didn't know what he was talking about. There was some girl saying, I just bought a house with OnlyFans.
I just saw that with my OnlyFans, with my skank bank. And there's pictures of her, like, very average looking girl, which part of me was like, yay, good for her. You know, it's all fun to get out of debt. But then I was like, God damn it. Like, I should take some pictures of my butthole and see what happens. You know, maybe I would stop renting.
He had retweeted it saying, I feel so sad for these stupid millennial girls who think they're doing something great, and in 10 years they will have blackmail material on them in lots of people's hands.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's quick money. I mean, you can get your rent paid like that. I mean, I know so many people just in the last 6 months that went from whatever job they were doing to now OnlyFans. And then my friends who are like actual sex workers are like, they feel like their style is being cramped a little bit. Like they're professional, either porn stars, cam girls, whatever. Like they're good at it. That now you have comedians coming in, musicians, just like whoever, like, you know, Miranda from the bank.
How much do the men pay for this?
I think you can start at like $5 a month and up. And there was this big controversy with Bella Thorne. She had this thing where like she would send out like, oh, this is a nude. Pay $200 and you can see a nude of me, right? Because she was an famous actress and then went on OnlyFans, and it turns out it wasn't a nude, and then that was a whole shit storm, and it put a cap on how much you could be tipped, and all the sex workers were like really upset, but I don't know. So that's a whole kind of debacle.
It's very sad. It's sad for everyone involved.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of a sad situation. I know every like month I'm like, should I? Because there's people on OnlyFans like, but they're not nude. But I'm like, I don't know.
You'd think the value of it would start to go down as more start doing it, right?
I know. I always think like once people see what my boobs look like, there's to be some people who check out. Like even today, I'm wearing kind of a see-through top, which I didn't realize till I got here under these bright ass lights, and I'm like, I need to leave a little more to the imagination.
It's very appropriate.
It's interview chic. Yeah. What do you think are the biggest misconceptions people have about you?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. Sorry, I was having a little of my nicotine gum.
Does that help? Does it make you?
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I walked past somebody smoking a cigarette today and just thought, man, smoking was fun.
Oh, I miss the 90s.
I don't know. I don't know what conceptions they have about me. I guess the one that said, I don't know that they really believe it, but it seems to comfort liberals that she doesn't really believe what she's saying. This is why I'm always hoping my email will be hacked and the New York Times will just print them all so that, you can see. Not only do I believe it, I have further arguments I couldn't fit in this week's column.
You're like, I'm not gonna say for sure, but maybe my password is password, New York Times. Check it out. Oh man. Yeah. Well, that's good. It seems like you kind of just don't give a fuck. Like you're doing what you're doing. You're successful. It's like, I mean, I hope I get to that place where I'm a little bit not giving a fuck, but I still give some fucks. Like I'll go into Twitter and I'll be like there was a guy who made a comment on one of my YouTube videos. He was like, I really like the weight you've gained recently. You're a good size for breeding now. He went like on. I was like, this is really bothersome. He's like, you're milk bags. Something called my boobs milk bags. It was really weird. I was like, does this person work on a farm? Like, it went slowly from like, it was not even a compliment, but it went from like maybe a compliment to just more and more. Every line was more disturbing than the last. I go,
I think you could do well on that OnlyFans. That guy, wow. You could get him to pay a lot.
I was like, people want to reproduce with me. All right. I'm still kicking. I'm still doing good. And
hard to believe that guy doesn't already have a girlfriend.
I know. Yeah, she probably moves and lives outside. She lives in a barn. And I know you have to jet to another thing, but where can people find you, follow you?
At Ann Coulter on Twitter, anncoulter.com. A lot of websites and newspapers to the extent they still exist carrying my syndicated column, but it's always on anncoulter.com. And I don't have any speeches to announce right now, but hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, for sure.
And Compound Media occasionally.
Oh,
with
and Compound. Yes, if you ever want to come on and talk about sex and dating and relationships, 7:30 on Mondays.
PM?
PM.
Okay, if it was AM, I was going to say, no, I'm out. Maybe I will.
Yeah, anytime you're in town.
I will.
We'll have comedians, like porn stars on. One time we had a dominatrix who brought in their slave. We wrapped him in saran wrap, and she was like, it's fine, step on his balls. I was like, I really can't. I was like, there's balls in there, But it's not like that every time. Sometimes we just answer, like, fan questions and, read horoscopes. No, it's a good time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was great.
This was great.
I'll see you around the compound soon.
Yes.
We'll do another thing. And yeah, this was great. Thank you so much.
You have a very good podcast. Great to be here.
Thanks.